The late 19th century was a period of rapid development in Winthrop, encouraged by a narrow-gauge railroad loop connecting to East Boston and by ferry to Boston. At the town's E.B. Newton School and Cultural Center Heritage Room, the Winthrop Historical Commission has created a display map depicting the town around 1910, including a working narrow-gauge train. Why 1910? A map from 1906 is the reference, but some of the town's landmarks are from just a bit later. This building, the E.B. Newton School, dates from 1908, and the water tower was built in 1910. The 1906 map is 50 scale, where 1 inch equals 50 feet. The peninsula is pretty bare at this point. We hope this program will encourage people to make houses to cover the map. There were already more than 2,000 residences at the turn of the century. It turns out that a Monopoly hotel is about 24 by 34 feet in 50 scale, a good starting point for many Winthrop houses, and Parker Brothers has supplied 1,000 hotels. Although they are a good size, the red plastic needs some help to really look like a home. There are some necessary tools and materials for transforming the hotels: tweezers, a ruler, X-Acto or other razor knife, craft paint of various colors and even leftover house paint, perhaps also a black Sharpie. You'll need some material to make shapes to add extensions, gables, and porches to the houses. Here are a few examples: wood strips purchased at Michael's, and home items like popsicle sticks and foam meat trays. On the bottom is a sheet of 400 grit, black, wet or dry sandpaper. Its texture and color make it a great roofing material. There are simple steps from red hotel to 50 scale house. First, use a strip of sandpaper or a manicure file to sand the sides of the hotel. This roughens the plastic for better paint adhesion. Then cut off the molded-on chimney. It's round, so a strange shape for a chimney anyway, and it will make roofing difficult. We'll add a much more realistic-looking chimney later. This is a flush-cutting hobby tool, but diagonal cutters, a razor knife, or even a hacksaw could be used. Now, paint the sides of the house. It could be white or any of several colors that were popular at the turn of the century. It will probably take more than one coat to cover that red. Paint it until it looks good. This white paint took 3 coats. While the paint's drying, start on the roof. First, turn the sandpaper over and measure with the hotel to set the width, with a little overhang. Use a straight edge and razor knife to cut the strip of sandpaper roofs. Then cut the roof-wide strip into individual roofs. Again, measure with the building, allowing equal overhang on both sides. To make the fold for the ridge, first run the back of the blade over the centered fold line on the rear of the sandpaper. This scores the sandpaper backing, allowing it to crease easily and keeps the folds straight. Test fit the roof, and when satisfied that it fits, use the black Sharpie to cover the white edges and under the eaves, so no white shows in the finished house. Then glue it in place with Elmer's or other glue. You may need to weigh down the roof while it dries. I lean the tweezers on it. The last step is to add windows and doors. In this scale, it's unlikely that a viewer will be able to study the detail of these buildings, so details needn't be perfect. These white buildings will need only a black rectangle to represent windows and doors. This is most easily done with a Sharpie, or if you're steady, with a small brush. First, mark with pencil where you want the windows to make sure of placement. Then go over them with the black. If the house color is darker, a window or door would have trim. Start with the white paint to create the window and door trim. Then create the actual window or door with black centered in the white. If you're very steady, you can even create mullions by leaving white around the panes of black. This completes a simple rectangular house, how a lot of the houses in Winthrop started. But owners and builders have added gables, rooms, and extensions to these houses, and of course major details like porches and turrets. Using the wood strips and sanding sticks, or sandpaper, sand the wood to best represent the additions necessary, like these expanded entryways. Gables, and finally, chimneys add a lot of character to the houses. Gables require shaping the wood to a house shape, and then cutting off the gable to match the house roof line, either with a hobby saw or razor knife. The gable will need its own roof as well. Here is a view of the shape necessary to cover a gable, missing from the roof sandpaper, straddling the scored roof peak. Chimneys are easy using toothpicks or other small rectangular wood. First color the toothpick chimney color, and then carefully cut off the end, square. Sand it a little to make it really square and color the end black. Then cut the chimney off on an angle, again matching the house roof line so the gable will sit properly. Now our houses have different details and different colors, just like the real thing. A lot of houses in Winthrop have evolved from a simple box. For example, my 120-year-old house has quite a bit going on. It's pretty easy to make a miniature version. Again, just add wood shapes to the starting rectangle. Use layers of wood pieces to create the right look. Then proceed as before with painting and roofing, maybe even adding some trim and pillars to get a very impressive 50-scale house. Right now this map is naked, just waiting for the building boom. Look at what the streets can look like if everyone helps. How to participate? If you can come and visit the map at the E.B. Newton Heritage Room, you can also look at the 50-scale maps from 1906 and find your house, including its 1906 footprint, to help with adding the details that give it character. And pick up a couple of hotels to transform into 50-scale houses. Of course, if you're looking for a challenge, there are many town buildings that also need to be modeled to fill in the map, and many of these will be quite a challenge. Would someone like to start on the Cottage Park Hotel Complex? Help complete 1910 Winthrop. Come down to the E.B. Newton School and Cultural Center Heritage Room. Find your house on the map and make it. And then make your neighbors' houses and complete your street.